Here.
Okay.
All right. So welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, welcome in. Excited for tonight. Definitely excited. Bitcoin having 2024 bull run. So, a lot of questions coming in about Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's what I've been getting a lot in my inbox as of lately. So I wanted to take the time to address what's getting ready to happen with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I think tonight's conversation is going to be impactful for people. Every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through a huge cycle, and a lot of people, benefit from what happens with Bitcoin during these times. So I want you guys to add as many people as possible. We're gonna get this party started. Let's go.
That's 100.
All right, y'all. It's that time. It's that time. So we do have TR Swain from Swain Solutions in the house tonight. What's going on, TR?
Oh my gosh, Lawrence, I'm so excited for this. So make sure you guys are subscribing because I'm really excited about this. But Lawrence, we might need to have like a couple of episodes on this, okay, to really break this down.
For sure, for sure. I definitely think so. Definitely think so. I know I was talking on the back end with people is like, yeah, I don't think this is something that's going to be just covered in honestly in just one episode. So
Yeah.
definitely, I'm willing to do that for sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, listen, y'all, make sure you guys are subscribing. This is Monday Night Take on the Come Up series. I'm so excited. Over to you, bro.
For sure, for sure. So, see, we got some people in here tonight. Definitely wanted to, really just sit down and discuss and let's talk about what's getting ready to happen. So, I think a lot of times people make, Bitcoin, they make Ethereum, they make the whole crypto space. I feel like a lot of times like tough to understand, and I think it's a lot simpler than what people may think, right? Everything moves in cycles, right? We go through what? We go through 4 seasons, right? We go through,
Yeah.
depends on where you're at. Some states you can experience all those 4 seasons pretty much in one day, right? Depends on where you're at. Here in Georgia, we could, have rain, what I'm saying? It could be chill, it could be cold in the morning, rain during the middle of the day, and then ultimately we go ahead and we get you some sunshine and then it turns dark, right? So it's the same thing with Bitcoin, right? You have Bitcoin winter, you have this season called Bitcoin halving. So Bitcoin as well has seasons. And so I think a lot of times people, they think about the bull run, bull run, bull run, but they don't actually think about sowing the seeds. Like everyone wants to like reap the benefits today of something, right? But no one wants to actually put in the seeds of the work that you actually have to put in. And so what I really just encourage people to understand out of this episode is that in 2024, that cycle becomes complete again. Bitcoin runs on a 4-year cycle, right?
Yes.
And that cycle is going to become complete again here in 2024. And there's going to be a lot of money to be made and a lot of opportunity from it. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to dial back the past. We're going to talk about what's happened in the past and how the past has definitely predicted the future a lot when it comes to Bitcoin. So yeah.
All right, bro. Well, you already know I have questions, and if you guys have questions, please leave them in this chat box because we're really excited to really address everything. So, you ready to get started? Because I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go.
All
Yep.
right. So, listen. So now you guys listen. Like, so the Panther is speaking. So the first question I have for the Panther is Lawrence. Can you please explain how the role of miners in Bitcoin network and how Bitcoin having events impact their incentives and profitability? And I'll say it again. Can you explain the role of miners in the Bitcoin network and how Bitcoin having events impact their incentives and profitability?
Yeah, definitely. So, for one, I mean, let's break down exactly, what Bitcoin having actually is. Let's do that first, and then we'll get into the incentives,
Yeah.
right? So there's a limited amount of supply of Bitcoin. Let's start there, right? So there's only 21 million that have been created. right? And there's an infinite amount of Bitcoin that's actually in circulation. 3 million of that was lost, right? So 3 million Bitcoins were lost. So really it's about 18 million, a little over 18 million of Bitcoins that are actually in circulation, right? But Bitcoin gets mined, on a day-to-day basis, right? So computer programmers, etc., they actually go through and they'll mine Bitcoin, which this is a skill set that people actually have and people get paid from this, right? Now, when Bitcoin halving comes around, that incentive gets what? Greater, right? When Bitcoin halving comes around, think about it. Even from a supplies perspective, if someone who is in an industry that may be a lack of supply, right, for their particular sector, industry at the time, right, whatever product they may be offering, right, we'll keep it simple, right? For anyone right now, if you think about like oil, gasoline, right, what's the incentive? If you have a bunch of supply, price is going to be lower. But if you have a limited amount of supply, price is going to be higher. So Bitcoin is just it's a finite asset at the end of the day. So there's a limited amount of supply of pretty much Bitcoin. So what's out there is what's out there. And by 2136, long after we're gone, Bitcoin would have all now at that point will complete our Bitcoin halvings. So what happens during these time periods is there's like a surge, right? There becomes a huge surge of interest, right? Think about it. If you're someone that's looking to invest and trade Bitcoin, there's some advantages, what I'm saying, to that time. So when I first got into this 2017, Bitcoin was at like, 3,500 at the time. It went to 20,000. The media was beating it down, saying, we're not going to invest in it. Investing in crypto is a scam, which there are scam coins, but that's just like anything. There's bad stocks to invest in. There's fraudulent companies, right? There's companies that cook their books, right? So that's not anything really new. There's always been bad actors in any, space that you're in. There's going to be people who steal, cheat, lie, etc., whatever. So what I realized about Bitcoin at the time was it's extremely slow. Like I don't know how many people have used Bitcoin before, have even sent Bitcoin to someone or transacted using Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin network is actually pretty slow. Um, and it is once again we go back to the miners actually have to push those transactions actually through, right? So the reward, right, during Bitcoin halving gets greater for those people, right? So that's something, like I said, to really keep in mind. The reward gets greater. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I will note for people here. When it comes to, like I said, when it comes to Bitcoin halving, the reward gets greater for people. So it's incentivized during this time period. Going into 2024, to be exact, May 2024 is when Bitcoin halving is going to happen. And so once again, we go back to 2017, Bitcoin was at 3,500 and it shot up all the way to uh, 20,000 at its peak. It declined and went from 20,000 back to like 2,500, 3,000, right? So it dropped there. Then Bitcoin picked back up again. It went to like 10, 13,000 in years like 2018, 2019. In 2020, it broke back over 20,000 again. And then in 2021, Bitcoin ended up hitting a high of about $67,000. Currently, right now, if you're taking a look at Bitcoin, last time I looked, BTC, where we at? Last time I looked, it was, let's see. Last time I looked at Bitcoin was actually earlier this morning. Bitcoin is super volatile. So that's why you always got to check when you're taking a look at Bitcoin, 34,800. So Bitcoin right now, I mean, it's still at a favorable price. One thing and we'll get into Ethereum in a second. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, just to discuss, they run and control the cryptocurrency market. So any other cryptos outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum are not going to be able to move without Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Move it to the upside.
Gotcha.
So that's key. That's key to understand is that the dominance that they display and the dominance that they hold. They have a stranglehold pretty much on the industry, and that's only going to continue, right? So yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, like from your
Uh,
perspective?
Yeah, so it's two different things. So Ethereum is not as finite when you think about more Ethereum can be created. Bitcoin, like it's never there's more. So two differences. Well, excuse me, one main difference is the ability of it being finite, right? That's super important. The speed as well. So Ethereum is way faster when it comes to sending Ethereum, right? Ethereum is, I mean, you could send Ethereum within like a minute or two. Bitcoin, it could take 10 to 15 minutes. It could take even longer, but speed is definitely one difference. So yeah, those are two of the main differences. And then there's also things that can be built on the Ethereum network. So you can build other things on the Ethereum network. So there's actually other ecosystems and other payment methods, right? Other things that are built on top of the Ethereum ecosystem. So yep.
Okay, no, that's really good. Now I know that I've always heard that in terms of like Bitcoin was related to digital gold. I just would love to know what is your perspective on that? Like, how is
You
that
said,
related? Yep. So like
Mhm.
so I've heard it before that people related to digital gold. So can you provide more context on that?
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely, definitely. So, when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to Bitcoin, I definitely can add more context to that. People like to call it, gold because of, the ability to use it as a true hedge, right? Like, what we've seen in the past is like anytime there's kind of been like something bad that's happened in the world, um, people have been able to go ahead and how do I say this? Like anytime there's been something that's bad happen in governments, uh, you kind of see Bitcoin and Ethereum go up. Like it's an ecosystem that people like to use to hedge. So that's why you've seen Bitcoin be compared to gold. Now, is it a fair comparison from a store of value perspective? I think it is, but Bitcoin lacks history. So
Yeah.
that's where, you know, everyone likes to run with narratives. I wouldn't necessarily run with that narrative just because it's still brand new. You can't, I mean, you're talking about Bitcoin that's been around, you know, as far as like people knowing about it since, the past 10, probably 10, 12 years. Um, but I mean, Bitcoin's been around, the technology has been around past 2030. Really, it's crazy. Cryptocurrency technology really was around in the 80s and early 90s. Right. So, that's really where a lot of this stuff, really started. But, I'll tell people here right now, like, Bitcoin, um, it's like I said, it's a network that is slower than Ethereum. But these are the two leaders of the space, so you want to pay attention to them super heavy. So that's what I'll say.
Okay. I
Hmm.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So we do have a question in the chat from Juan. And thank you, Michelle. I saw that. Thank you, girl. So it says, if the market crashes, do you think money will move to crypto?
Someone said, if the market crashes, do I think money will move to crypto? Mm, that's a good question. That's a good question. So if the market crashes, do I think money will move to crypto? Um, that is a really, really, really good question. Um, I don't foresee that, just because these markets have always been intertwined. So a lot of times, TR, people think that the stock market and the crypto market like are gonna move against each other. Where
Mm-hmm.
there's certain days, don't get it twisted. There's certain days where the crypto market might have been up, right, and the stock markets might have been down. But they're always gonna like run together, right? Like I said, there's this narrative that they run apart, right? That they're gonna move counteract, like, but they've always ran together, right? So, for example, let's just use hypotheticals here, right?
Yeah.
So, if the Federal Reserve was to cut interest rates today, right? Hypothetically, right? They came out tonight and said, yo, we're lowering interest rates. The crypto market and the stock market would both be up tomorrow, right? So, it wouldn't be one or the other. So when people think about it, even if we go back to 2020, 2021, that was the same time that the stock market was, right? We saw those growth companies were booming, those tech companies were booming. That's the same thing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those like they're gonna boom, just like what the same times the stock market is gonna boom. So yeah, they're gonna have those days where maybe right the stock market might be up and then Bitcoin and Ethereum might be down. There might be some news that came out that could have caused that. But these things will definitely move together for sure. Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would love to know also just to pick your brain. So do you like foresee like are there any challenges or obstacles that could affect the future success of Bitcoin?
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think one of the things is the regulatory.
Okay.
It's tough when you're talking about it's tough when you're talking about an asset class that's struggling from a regulatory perspective. But I will say this. Now let me discuss this, right? What I do like about crypto is it's very transparent, right? So if you want to see what transactions are being made on the blockchain, you can actually go look and find those transactions, right? It's very transparent. So I think that's one of the things that, banks don't like is the transparent part, right? Because everything can be seen, right? It's super, super, super duper transparent. Um, I think from a security aspect, you know, I would say that that's the one thing that people have to get better at is securing your crypto. There's multiple ways, and we can discuss that in a second. But I want to stay on the banks here for a second. I believe the banks look at the technology from a transparent perspective, and they're like, "Yo, what's going on?" Like, I'm gonna explain this. How do you think that all these people that like these celebrities that were taking money to promote stuff? How you think they were getting in trouble, right? Like the Kim Kardashians, the Logan Pauls of the world, even like people like Tom Brady, like these people were actually able to. These people got like they were paid to promote crypto, but it was able to be detected. It was actually able to be detected. There's even people. It's crazy to even say this, but there's even people. Here's how wicked this is. I won't say the person's name. I ain't gonna cause it. But there's someone that's in this space of higher education that has taken $40,000 worth of Ethereum that's actually documented on the blockchain, right, to promote a crypto scam to their community. And we're actually able to see that. So I really, 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 really want to, say that. I really want to say that, right? Because when you're taking a look at, you know, crypto, when you're taking a look at when, you hear these banks talk about this, and when you hear just in general, these talking heads get on and talk about that, it's super transparent. So it's super hard to, super hard to get away with certain things in the crypto space because it's super transparent. So, yep. Yep.
All right. And what about Ethereum? What's your perspective about that? Like, is it still like with regulatory you think too, or?
Yeah, everything with crypto. I mean, it's been so many. How do I say? It's been so many type tactics that have been tried to be used on people. So
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
hmm Any questions for me? Any more questions?
Yes. Listen, you already know. Listen, you guys, I have over 30 questions for Lawrence, but we're not going to go through all of them. I promise. We're just going to
hmm
look at it because you already answered some of them. So I do appreciate you. So,
Go ahead.
great. All right. So here, this might be a good one. So, what is the
Okay.
role of scalability solutions, such as a Lightning Network for Bitcoin,
hmm
layer two solutions for Ethereum, and addressing
Yep.
transaction speed? So, talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about transaction speed. So I'll talk about the scalability part first, and then I'll get into transaction speed in a second. So I want to talk about, when you think about Ethereum network to scale, there was a lot of, yeah, you heard of NFTs before, right?
Yes.
Non-fungible tokens, right? So that's actually on the Ethereum network. That's how, a lot of those were actually able to happen, right?
Yeah.
You had other coins that were off, but a lot of them were Ethereum based. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, for those that are new that are listening, right? And I think that, anytime there's a first version of something, it's just starting out, it's always going to be difficult for that first version of something to succeed, right?
Yeah.
But I think in the crypto space, I think that, maybe NFTs, they may be done. Maybe they come back in some sort of way in the future. We'll see. But I think from the Ethereum network perspective, right, from a scalability, I actually make, and you can actually create other ecosystems on the Ethereum network is what makes the Ethereum network attractive in the first place, right? There's a lot of Ethereum based tokens that have came from that particular Ethereum Lightning network. You talk about the speed, I actually talked about the speed earlier about how fast you're actually able to send Ethereum. So Ethereum is a great alternative, right? To Bitcoin from a speed perspective when you're talking about transaction, if you're trying to send, to and from. So the thing about crypto is like TR, let's say you were to go to I don't know, let's say you were to go to Brazil, right, tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you're like, Lawrence, send me $500, right? I could send you $500 in Ethereum, even though you're in another country, in literally like 2 minutes, probably. So the
Yeah.
point is that the network that you have is like you're able to actually really, really use it the right way. And so it's super creative, right? And it's super fast. And it's different. You talk also we'll talk about cross-border payments. Like what I'm explaining right now is a cross-border payment. So it becomes cheaper because think about it. If I'm trying to do international wires and this and that, all those fees get misconstrued. It's expensive.
Right.
But you using something like Ethereum, is a good alternative for that. So I'm just giving some real life examples of how people can actually, benefit from, something like this. So yeah.
Oh, sorry, I went on mute by accident. I really appreciate that. So I also want to pick your brain on this. So like in terms of like the term store of value, so like how is that like evolved, or like how do you see it evolving over time with Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a true testament of a store of value. I think that one day Bitcoin will end up being over 100,000, and I think if you store your money into Bitcoin over time, I would say that when you think about Bitcoin, like as far as investing in it, you can't really think about yourself. To me, you got to really think about like your grandkids and great grandkids.
Yeah.
I think like, 2060, 27, 28. Like I'm thinking like you got to really be thinking like at that point, like where's this thing going to be at? Just from a supply and demand perspective, there's only going to be there's a limited amount of supply. So you're talking about storing your money into something that's not going to be created anymore. You're not going to be able to print. And so, this is a decentralized currency, right? It's not centralized like the US dollar, where the Federal Reserve can say, yo, we're going to print more money tonight. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to do it the day after that, right? So it's decentralized, right? So it's not controlled by any one individual or entity. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are decentralized networks, whereas what we've been operating on using the US dollar and using these other currencies are centralized, pretty much formed networks of payments, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another question. Now I don't know if this is too technical, so we'll have at it with this question. So I just want to know, so are there any innovative approaches that are being explored right now to make I guess cryptocurrency mining more sustainable?
Yeah, because it definitely costs a lot. Really great question there. Definitely
Yeah, just like energy consumption. So yeah.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely. It definitely does cost. It definitely is expensive. Let's start there on the cost side for you to actually mine Ethereum. It takes a lot of electricity. It's great. I'm gonna tell a story. So there was actually this mother that I knew, and it was this young kid. He was actually mining Bitcoin, and she didn't know what he was doing. It's crazy, and I think there's a few stories out there, right, that you can kind of look and see, and a lot of times, the youth have been really good. Some of the like it's crazy. There's no age limit on being a Bitcoin miner, right? And so what I tell people is that from an efficiency standpoint, it does cost. It's super expensive. It can be expensive to mine Bitcoin depending on what type of setup you particularly have. Operations. It does cost, and that's why the reward has to be worth it for those miners to actually mine that Bitcoin. But it's crazy because this lady, she got a electric bill for like I think it was like $1,200. All right, $1,200, not
Oh
knowing what was going on. Right, so yep.
gosh.
Someone said Bitcoin is a bearer asset, and you can store in your mine bank if you can keep 12 to 24 words in your head. Okay.
All right, so I guess so. Like, just even from your perspective, Lawrence, are there, I guess, like any technical challenges associated with Ethereum in terms of like their proof of stake, just for like from that consensus?
Yeah, so people are looking to always get yield. I mean, really just like any asset class, right? You don't want to just be invested into something and only getting, just only getting a small portion,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just not really only getting I won't say a small portion, but only getting the upside of it, right? You want to be able to actually get some reward, right? So to be able to stake. So staking was something that's, was really it's the people still stake, but it was something that was really hyped up and talked about. I would even say, it's not, you don't really hear many people talk about it. I know I know people personally that are still staking to get a reward. But I think there was once again a lot of bad actors, right? So certain platforms were saying you could stake your Ethereum, right? So listen to this, right? If
Yeah.
you stake your Ethereum, we're going to give you 21% yield. This is just an example. So 21% yield sounds really good, right?
Right.
Think about it. I mean, it sounds like that's like a really nice pitch. And unfortunately, that was the pitch that was made to, a lot of people. So I definitely would say, when it comes to, like I said, Bitcoin and Ethereum, my main point and focus, particularly like I said with Ethereum, the proof of stake. I
Yeah.
think it's something. That'll continue to be there. But I think you'll hear more people talking about, trying to get that yield. I think you'll see a few bad actors and some good actors. But yeah, I think it's something you can expect for sure.
Okay. Well, that's really good.
Yep.
Now, just to also just, cause I just really want to know your thoughts on this, because you guys know I'm still new to this trading life. I'm excited for next year. I'm gonna be out there. Okay, I feel like I'm still on my little training wheels right now. So what I want to know is, would it be a benefit, or would this be an actual risk if like the government, or we have, or even like institutional investors that are using Bitcoin as a reserve asset? Like, what would that be from your perspective? A risk or a benefit?
You said if the government used it as a reserve asset.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, my personal opinion, I don't see them. I don't see them doing that. I guess I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that. I know it's been, people, but I don't see them doing that. I see the government just wanting to get their cut from, cryptocurrency trading, which
Yeah.
they are now, right? Because you got to think back in the day, they weren't getting cut in. Man, it's crazy. People was making buku money, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, right? And didn't have to pay any taxes because the infrastructure wasn't there. Once again, new asset class. So there wasn't a bunch of laws when it came to taxation with Bitcoin. There wasn't. How could there have been? It didn't fall into the playing field quite yet. So it took some time to actually get caught up. But I think the government more so just wants to profit off the taxation from it. I don't think they want to put it as anything else other than that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have a few comments in the chat. One is from Josh.
Yeah.
Actually, shout out to Josh. That's my nephew's name. Give him a little plug. He's 6. But in terms of Josh just asked, like the end of the year price for Bitcoin. He just wants to know your prediction.
I don't really get into the
Uh-huh.
I don't really get into the predictions too much. I just do
Mhm.
spoilers, man. So I'm not gonna give an end of the year price for Bitcoin because I mean it could ultimately end up at 40 or 25, right? But I'll just give you guys a spoiler, right? I mean, as far as the next 18, 24 months, like you want to be invested in Bitcoin because I truly believe that Bitcoin will at least go back over 50,000 and go back to nearest all-time high when this next Bitcoin halving comes around. So that'll be the spoiler I give. I would say that now is once again still the time to dive in. You're thinking about, Ethereum. Last time Ethereum hit 5 racks. Ethereum's still at 1,800 right now. So,
Yeah.
I know people look at these costs, but it's like, yo, I just feel like, you gotta really put in the work now. We haven't started even discussing even, I would say, even half the stuff that I want to discuss. There's certain things because we just honestly we just talking about Bitcoin having 2024 bull run, and we've been talking about just Bitcoin and Ethereum. I haven't even gotten into the crypto plays that are be in the stock market, right? The crypto plays that are going to be in the stock market, that are coming, that are here. Think plays that you're going to be able to make 600 to 1,000% to maybe even more, right, from this next run. And so, I tell people like this, man, it's the little things. Pay attention to the little things. No one's talking about crypto right now. That's when you want to invest in it. So this is a PSA pretty much that I'm just making. You don't hear nobody talking about crypto for the most part. It's quiet.
Yeah.
Right. But the moment this thing start running again, oh man, you're gonna like people are gonna be screaming off the rooftops. Screaming off the rooftops. So this is why I'm saying you want to buy this thing now while it's on a discount, while no one's talking about it, while it's super, super, super duper quiet. You want to be buying this thing. Don't play no games with it because Bitcoin will take off and leave you. I'm gonna just tell you this right now.
Mhm.
Don't worry about nothing else other than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't worry about no XRPs. Don't worry about nothing else but Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm
Okay.
giving you guys spoilers right now. I want to tell you this. Listen, 2020, this thing was at 3,500, 5 racks. And then literally the drop came, right? In 2017 was trading sideways for 2 to 3 years. That was nothing but time to accumulate. This thing hit 67 racks. So even TR, let's just say you put 5,000 in 2018, 5,000 in 2019, and
Yeah.
5,000 literally in 2020, early 2020.
Yeah.
Literally, we talk about $15,000 investment. Bitcoin went to 67 at its peak. So let's say you sold at 50. That 15 brought you back 150.
I know. What a jump.
So exactly, you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm just telling people, but listen, Bitcoin's only going to get more expensive
Yeah.
over time. Think about it. This last time, it retraced to 15,000. That was the lowest it went. Right now, it's already double from 15. It's at 35. And Bitcoin halving hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making to people is like all-time highs at 67,000. Like this, I seriously believe this run that's getting ready to happen, it may hit 100,000. It just may. And you got to think, it may only come back down to 30. So that means the cost of entry is really getting more and more and more and more and more, which is true. The cost of entry, the cost of admission is getting more and more expensive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because everything is following its demand, so that makes sense. Dang.
Yep.
Dang,
Yep.
my chest. When you said that, my chest dropped. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yep. So
All right, awesome.
that's where we at now.
So
For
we
sure.
do
Keep
have
going.
a question. Actually, in the chat, shout out to Marlon. So Marlon asks, "What's the safest play? I'm sorry. What's a safe place to buy Bitcoin?"
I would say, I mean, Coinbase is really good. Uphold is good too. So those are my two favorite platforms, Uphold and Coinbase. Now, I'll tell you this, right? When it comes to Coinbase, when it comes to, let me just say this, when it comes to any platform, you want to be able to hold your particular crypto actually on a secure device. Whether you have a wallet, right? You may use something like a MetaMask, or you may decide to use, maybe a different, particular platform to actually house your crypto. Exodus is a good one. Exodus is a good one. And then you may decide those are virtual wallets, right? You may decide, you know what, I want actually something physical, something that I can actually have, right? And I would suggest a Ledger Nano X. Now, these Ledger Nano X's have went up in price, but that just goes to show you the demand in crypto. Because think about it, when I first started investing in crypto, a Ledger Nano X was probably about 80 bucks. I think last time I looked, I think it was like maybe 120, 130. So that just shows you the cost. It now is going to cost you more to even secure your crypto. So that shows you the jump in demand and how many more people are actually trading crypto at this time. So
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, awesome. So do you guys have any questions, whether it's in regards to Bitcoin or Ethereum? Because I know that we will be doing this a few episodes on this, because you're right. We really didn't we didn't really dive deep into
Yeah,
it.
we kept it on Bitcoin halving tonight.
Yeah, this is at a high level. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go too fast. Correct. Yes, ma'am. Any questions from anyone? Any questions? I know there's more questions out there.
Yeah.
So dollar cost average. Yeah, that's the best strategy like for anything that you're trying to get into over a period of time. So yep. Bitcoin halving is happening May 2024. Said that earlier.
Yeah.
Uphold is really good.
Like, I have a question for you. So like how does like the role of inflation impact Bitcoin? Does it?
Same thing as the stock market. People are always gonna want to have their money in assets if inflation, the people want to hedge. So, it's the same thing as the stock market. Same role. People want to have their money in things that make them money. And Bitcoin is just another one of those things. A dollar that isn't moving is a dollar that's losing.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. That's a tweet right there. Okay. Say that again.
A dollar that isn't moving is a dollar that's losing. That's a saying. It's been said quite a few times before, but that's a saying from people on Wall Street. Just different people have said that plenty of times, which is true, right? So a dollar that isn't moving is a dollar that is losing. As simple as that. Yeah. So you have to have a Bitcoin wallet. I would suggest that. Like I said, I mentioned Exodus. I went through extensively as far as someone said, what would be the bear case to Bitcoin? We've already had the bear case play out. Bitcoin usually retracts 70 to 80% after Bitcoin halving, right? So Bitcoin halving is that spark. There is, not to say that Bitcoin is, like I said, it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to go up. Let me just say this: there shouldn't be any questions of if it's going to go up. Once again, this is a finite resource. So that's the beauty in Bitcoin. Demand is going to come back in for this thing. So there's no question of if it's going to drop or anything like that. The only way for going into Bitcoin halving and right after, price is going to go up. I think if we come back to this same topic next November, I think we'll be sitting and we'll be seeing Bitcoin above 50 racks again. Yep. So this was just one of the first episodes when it comes to Bitcoin halving 2024 bull run. Like I said, my bold prediction is that Bitcoin goes back to an all-time high in the next 18 to 24 months. I know some people are asking for end of the year price targets. End of the year price targets do not matter when it comes to Bitcoin right now. The only thing that matters is what's going to happen over this next 18 to 24 months. This is a party you want to be in on. This is not a party that you want to miss. This is a party that you want to be ready to dance at. So it's as simple as that. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, listen, scared money don't make no money. So let's get it.
For sure.
All right.
That is so We appreciate you guys for tapping in. So, you know, we're coming up on that year mark here. Coming up on this year mark. You know, it's been, you know, it's crazy. Last November's pretty much joined the Come Up series. Shout out to Mark and Jolynn. Then they
Yeah.
brought me on. I think it was like end of September on their episode.
Yeah.
And since then, you know, a lot of growth. I mean, you're talking about consistently, you guys show up every week here watching. I know there's a lot of people that just catch the replays as well, too. Consistently getting 3,000-4,000 views on each video that we're putting out.
Yeah.
So definitely want to first off, you know, just say thank you to everyone for coming in and contributing. So definitely want to say, you know, definitely appreciate you guys wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
We do have you know, our 1 year anniversary that is coming up. So I was like, you know what, it's only fitting that we take it to the D. So November 27th, 7 p.m. CST, 8 p.m. EST. We're
Yes.
gonna have a live show to celebrate the 1 year of Monday Night Take in Dallas.
Yes.
So Dallas. You guys can put it on your calendars, November 27th. We're going to have a flyer that goes out and everything. So live show, November 27th.
Yes.
Look forward to seeing y'all in Dallas for those that we're going to celebrate the 1 year with a in-person event. So an in-person event.
I'm excited because I'm also gonna be like bringing in like my clients. And also I just want to say shout out to one of my clients. She went from making 48,000 to 200K. She's working 2 remote jobs. So I'm really proud of her. So yeah, because she's going to be also participating in the stock market as well. So this is dope.
Fire. Let's go. So, man, can't wait to come down. Appreciate y'all very much always. And we're going to keep this party rolling. So we will see you guys next week. DFW, we'll see you guys on the 27th.
All right.
Peace.
Awesome.